Behind me here is my active, and I like to call it my wall of fame. We have 500 active volunteers of all ages, of all different cultures here in Sydney, and they all find a place here at the Sand where they love to give back. We've had this program running here at the Sand since 1973. In 2000 they became a support group that did different roles that were able to help out on the wards. So they changed the program so that there was more tasks that volunteers could be engaged in and make a difference with the nursing support that they offer. So it's non-clinical, but just helping out more so on the wards. Our volunteers love this hospital, really love this hospital.
Well, my wife was in here on dialysis from 1986 to 93 for 5 years, and she was here on 3 days a week. It was very trying for her, and in the end she said, "Look, I don't think I can stand this anymore. I think I'll have to let myself go." And it was quite a tragedy for the family. And that was 30 years ago, so it's been quite a while. I've been 30 years without her, really. But joining here has been a great comfort, and I decided to connect to the Sand Hospital, and eventually came to the infusion department.
Well, many years ago I felt I wanted to do something useful, and I joined the Pink Ladies, and I worked in a cafe, and then my husband got ill and I didn't work anymore, but he had for 3 years, he had chemotherapy, and I used to go with him, and I felt the treatment was just wonderful here. And then sort of the thought came that I would really like to do something towards that, because, you know, at this age you don't have small grandchildren anymore, and I've had a good life. I'd like to put something back, and here is the place where I can do it very well.
I know when I first started that I actually had an interaction with an older male in the lift. He thought that I was here on community service, and at first I took offence to it, but then I realised that it's not normal for a 20-year-old to spend their free time willingly to do this kind of thing. And I think for especially people in hospital and older generations, they think that we just want to cause a lot of trouble. They don't think that this is what we want to be doing, but this is what I want to be doing. I really do want to be giving back and helping people and making them smile and cheering them up a little bit.
So administrative support is more like your concierge, that meet and greet, your reception and front help desks that meet and greet the patients and the visitors and help guide their way around the hospital. They also help in the offices just with a little bit of filing or things like that. So there's a lot of administrative support in our support departments. Then the clinical areas is where a lot of the important action happens, where they go up and they chat with the patients. They can spend time with the patients that the nurses really struggle to get time. They'll sit and listen, and that's just so important up on the ward. The other thing that we offer a lot of help with now is with the stock. There's a lot of stock that they try to organise, keep tidy and do on the wards, and that support just helps the nurses so much.
They make us life so much easier, as well as the patients-wise. They love the volunteer here and talk to them, and when they see the yellow t-shirt, they know they will get help.
Even the colour yellow is a brightening of the area, so you appreciate that they are here and, you know, provide you with the, you know, comforts of home, basically. They come and talk to me, they ask me whether I want a blanket, if I'm cold, if I want a cup of tea. They also, you know, bribe me with muffins, which is my favourite, because the nurses have to do their clinical bits and pieces, even though they're very friendly and things like that. You don't necessarily want to feel that you are interrupting their work. So the volunteers, I suppose, provide that step between clinical to personal, doing that work that I suppose other people think is not necessary, but from a patient's point of view, I find that they add the personal touch.
We go back to 1973. and we've kept records of hours contributed, and we have over 1.5 million volunteering hours that have been contributed to the hospital since 1973. Just in 2018, just last year, the active team of volunteers contributed 58,000 hours, and that's all across the hospital, including all the other areas that are sort of outside, like your stores area, your HR, education, marketing. So all the areas have added up to about 58,000 hours.
Amazing.
Amazing. So the museum is such a fascinating place to go to because they've set it up in one of the original buildings. So for a period of time the museum would stay closed until we were able to set up a little routine and a roster. So we now have volunteers that come in and open the door up, and the museum's now open for anyone to come and visit and to learn the rich history of this hospital, which is really exciting. Sand Snacks is a much loved little cafe that the volunteers run, and through the little shop we're able to give back through the profits it makes to life-saving equipment here at the hospital. So we have 100 volunteers in there that get rostered in, and they come in and help with the prep. So they make the fresh sandwiches in the morning, and then we sell what they make throughout the day. And the profit that we make from what they do, we give back to the hospital.
There is a feeling of contribution, and that I think is important. I think it's important for the human being to have that feeling that you're doing something for another person, really.
It's the smile in their faces, their reaction to the service that we deliver that gives us the satisfaction, and that's very important.
It kind of brings you back down to earth and gives you perspective on that life is precious.
A couple of days I came in and somebody said, "Oh, there is Sue," and it makes me feel so good. It really feels I'm wanted and I'm needed and I can do something good.
They are called the Sunny Angels of the Sand, so they do really impact positively this place.
Well, I think sometimes they're actually the face of the hospital because you see them all through the hospital and they always have a cheery smile on their face. They are welcoming. They sort of make the hospital a personal place. So it's an excellent place to, if you're having to have this sort of therapy, they do make the place a home, so to speak.
Well, we have so much fun here, and people remark as they go past the door, they say every time we come past, you're either laughing or you're singing, and we tell jokes, and we just generally have lots of laughs. We laugh all the morning, so that's why I come. Another reason.
So you think people get more out of volunteering than they give?
I'm sure they do. They don't realise what they're missing out on.